Hello, my friends. Once again, Luiz Lima here in Orlando, Florida. And here we are, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for another program, Spiritism, a closer look. You are on Kardec Radio with us. Thanks so much for joining us. I always like to tell you that for comments, suggestions to request or request as a topic for discussion, you have the information down on your screen. Those are ways to get in touch with us. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. And tonight, we are going to take a closer look at moral improvement. Moral improvement. Of course, it's not something that we can speak in 30 minutes or so. It's a lifetime of discussion. So, but we are going to take a tip of the iceberg style approach on the subject. We are going to discuss this subject several more times throughout this year. So here we go. Let's get started. On the Spirits book, part 2, which is entitled The Spirit World. There's a chapter 7. The title of the chapter is Return to Corporeal Life. In this chapter, there's a set of questions 361 through 366. And it's about moral improvement. We're going to talk about some of these questions tonight. But let me get started by telling you something else. In the book, Spiritism in its simplest expression, it's a little booklet, goes in your pocket. So, the minimum about Spiritism. It's good for people who are new to Spiritism. It's written by Allan Kardec. It's a summary of the summary, we could say. So in this book, Spiritism in its simplest expression, there's an item 35, where Allan Kardec tells us that the essential aim of Spiritism is the improvement of mankind. So the book is about, it's almost like a series of bullets. It's not really bullets because it's not one line, but it's almost like it's the minimum. So he tells us that the essential aim of Spiritism is improvement of mankind. So here we are. Let's talk about it. Moral improvement. Well, improvement that he's saying is cumulative. Just like academic studies or school year, you pile up as you go. So school year number 2 uses everything you learned in school year number 1 and adds up more. Same for school year number 3. It adds up to the previous 2 years that you had information on. That's cumulative. And moral improvement is cumulative. We can only get to the top, which is the highest degree of morality, by going through every single possibility, the entire scale. So obviously, it cannot be done in a snap of fingers. It requires work, which is, by the way, personal, not transferable, but it requires a lot of work to achieve moral perfection. And it can't be done, like I said, in a snap of fingers. It takes a lot of incarnations. It takes several incarnations. We not necessarily work on all our issues on a given incarnation. Sometimes what we do is we come in for most like intellectual progress this time. Maybe on the next life is going to be a little bit more moral progress. Sometimes we come in to do a little bit of both. It's different for everyone. There is no preset mode, nothing like this. Now, our level of morality, of course, we start at the bottom of the scale, if you will, and we have to climb all the way to the highest. But our level of morality impacts our physical body directly. Diseases, illnesses, all of these things, they are physical expressions on a physical body of our level of morality. So, we have all these degenerative diseases going around and all over the world. It's not a certain area of the world. It's not a certain location. Nothing like this. It's scattered throughout the world. It's worse for some. It's better for others. But still, these diseases, they are around, and they have been causing trouble. They cause people to discarnate. So we are going to devote and dedicate a special program, which it's going to be next week, for degenerative diseases. We're going to talk about what happens in the cell from the spiritist point of view, and how we can go about it, and how we can avoid that. Okay, so what I wanted to say here is the level of morality impacts our body, the physical body. So let me see if I can get you to follow me. How does it all start? How does this the body is suffering physically, how does it start? Let's go to the highest top. Okay, the top. Let's go to the top. Think about this. God is the creator and lies above all things. He is the creator. Everything from God down is creation of God. So any creation is always smaller than its creator. Any creation is always smaller than its creator. So it is that way for us. We are the ones creating the problems. That automatically means that the problems are smaller than we are. Thus, we have control over it, always have control. However, it doesn't mean that we know how to deal with this, and we might not even excel at it. But we are the creators of our problems, so the problems are smaller than we are, and we have control over them. So the trick is to learn how to control the situation for every situation. That's where the whole thing lies upon. How do I learn that? And that's why we need time. We need several lifetimes. We need, if you think about it, we need training. We need, to repeat. We need to fail and, get up and go again. That's just part of it. We are the sum of the results of our prior experiences. All together, they all came together to this point in time where you and I are now, and we are this resultant of all these prior experiences. Which makes it interesting, because if you think about it, for every glory, there's a lot of defeats in it. Isn't that interesting? So when you look from the point of view of the objective, for example, glory, defeat is not really what it seems to be. It's not really the end of the world. It's not really something, I can't continue this way. No, it's just a way of making things better. It's a stepping stone, if you will. So there is defeat in every glory, a lot of them. All people who are, to our social standards, successful people, personalities, they come to us. They do interviews all the time, and that's what they say. I failed more than I expected, and they are successful now. So fail is part of the success. So having all these difficulties, we cannot stop. We cannot give up. All situations that we have to overcome will include a set of struggles. All of them. And that's in every aspect of our life. Personal life, relationships, social life, economics, politics, sports, healthcare, everything, absolutely everything that we belong, and we belong to all these things and many more. We will have struggles, and they are nothing more than part of a journey, part of a successful journey. And I dare to say successful because the results are known. We know the results, moral perfection. So there is no question about if. Will I ever be morally perfect? Yes, all of us. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how soon. So the results are known. So to address morality and to achieve moral perfection, we must experience all possibilities. We must be at times poor, at times rich in different lives, at times with a certain skin color, at other times with other skin colors in different lifetimes. Sometimes on male bodies, sometimes on female bodies. And it goes on and on and on. That's the only way we're going to have all the experience for all possibilities. And then, yes, I will reach moral perfection. But again, it takes time. If we could do like an inventory of beliefs and our personal inventory of moral standards, we can do that because we know what the standard should be. That's what Jesus came down for. He brought us that. Not only brought, but he made us right in front of our eyes. He had us witness what he was saying. So all of these things, all these inventories of our moralities and moral standards, we can do them to position ourselves and just don't give up. Go ahead. Some of the challenges are going to be a little more difficult, will take a little longer. Some others will be easier, but we are going to reach moral perfection. So in one of those questions that I mentioned in the beginning, question 361, Allan Kardec asks the spirits like this: where do a person's good or evil moral qualities come from? Right? So where is good and or evil moral standards coming from? So the answer from the spirits is they reflect those of the incarnate spirits. The purer the spirit, the more the person is inclined towards goodness. Meaning, what we call evil are nothing more than spirits in the beginning of their journey, or closer to the beginning of their journey. They still have a lot of work to do. Sometimes they are called demons, but that's what it is. They're going to have to go through their journey, and it's going to take longer than those who are already up on the scale. So, as a consequence of that answer, Allan Kardec asks, so a moral person is the incarnation of a good spirit, and a cruel person that of an evil spirit? And the answer is yes. It's a straight yes. So good spirits bring good morals, come with good morals. Evil spirits have a different take on morality because they have to learn, they have to go through their journey. And then we complain about our lives, those around us, what's happening here, there, over the world. We complain a lot. So let's look around us. If we look around our lives, our family members, those people, our loved ones, people that we like, friends, if we look around all of us, that's the life that we delivered to ourselves. That's the life that we delivered to ourselves. Remember, the inventory of beliefs Inventory of beliefs includes what feeds our soul. So we need to be this outstanding voice, our own outstanding voice against the values that are contrary to those of the Christ. That's how we are going to improve. We need to be that voice. That's how we grow. And then in question 364, Allan Kardec is going to ask the spirits. That's an interesting question. Is it one and the same spirit who gives an individual his or her moral and intellectual qualities? Interesting question. And the answer is certainly it is one and the same. And such qualities will depend on the degree of the spirit's evolution. Individuals do not have two spirits within them. That's part of the answer. Individuals do not have two spirits within them. So it's not on this physical body that you're looking at, is not me as a spirit and another spirit. There is no such a thing. That means I can't blame anyone. I cannot blame anyone for anything. Because I'm in command, I'm in full command. I might suffer influences, that's another story, but still, I am in full command. You see, we designed the life that we are in. We designed the life that we are in. Again, going back to the same first thought, we are the creator, and our life is our creation. So we have control over it because it is smaller than we are as creators. So we could go as far as saying something like this, that life, if we try to define life from the Spiritist point of view, because science cannot define life. So we are going to do this from the Spiritist point of view. Life is the context that we create to advance and improve our morality and become a better version of ourselves. I'm going to say that again. Life is a context. It's a temporary context because we have several of these along the way, but life is a context that we create to advance and improve our morality and become a better version of ourselves. That's life from the Spiritist point of view. It's a context that I create to work on my things, to work on my issues, moral issues, so I can overcome these problems, these issues, and advance and grow. And so by having that in mind, we can choose the level of morality that we want to be in. I'm not saying that it's easy to be, plan my next life and says, I think I'm here, my next life I want to be here in terms of morality. I'm not saying that's easy, but we can choose the level. We have the ability to do that. In question 365, Spirit's book, Allan Kardec asks, why are, and that's another interesting question, by the way, why are the most intelligent individuals who display a highly evolved spirit incarnated in them sometimes and at the same time extremely cruel? So, in other words, how come someone who is absolutely intelligent, very, very, very intelligent, how can they be so cruel? And we know a lot of these. You look into history, You look into past history, you look into modern history, you look into today's history, there are a lot of individuals like this, very extremely intelligent and extremely cruel. Cruel meaning very low moral level. And the answer of the spirits is it is because the incarnate spirit is not sufficiently purified. Also, because the person yields to the influence of other spirits who are even worse. I'm going to repeat this last one. So, again, let's put this thing in context. Why very intelligent people, all the way high in intelligence, why are they morally so not advanced? Because they are not yet morally purified. Okay, that explains part of it, but that's not only the only answer. Also because they are subject to be influenced by other spirits who are even worse. That's where the obsessors are. They prey on spirits. There are, remember the spirit scale? Spirits that are low in the scale, they are more of an easy prey than the ones in the middle of the scale, and the ones on top are not preys at all. And the spirits end with another phrase, which is during one period meaning a lifetime, okay, a life, an incarnation. During one period, a spirit may advance in knowledge, during another in morality. Because we have to get better on both. And one of the questions that we discussed here a few times already on the Spirit's book is what comes first, right? Moral progress or intellectual progress? And the answer is intellectual progress. So you know, you develop the skills to make better choices, better moral choices. So interesting, right? Sometimes we come in for moral progress, and sometimes we don't come for moral progress because we are working on intellectual progress. It doesn't mean that we are not going to be better morally. Maybe you're not programming this one lifetime to do that. We're going to work on intelligence for in the future, next life. Then we are going to be uh, going to have the opportunity to make better moral choices. So that leads us to one thing, one thought. Intelligence does not guarantee morality. If you look at people from past history, Hitler, Bin Laden, just think about this, please. To make 9/11 happen, can you imagine the level of intelligence, ability to make strategies? It's an incredible amount of intelligence that is involved, but zero morality. Zero. No morality. So intelligence does not guarantee morality. So we see a lot of very intelligent people doing things that are morally unacceptable because they more in terms of moral development they are way down on the scale. So for most of us, right, we revolt about things at times. We don't like, we want to argue with God. We you see sometimes we think the world is a punching bag that we can just punch all the time. That doesn't help. That stops our progress because I'm punching back instead of let's see how I'm gonna go from here. How can I work around? How can I go ahead? How can I grow? How I can advance? You know, complaining about everything and everyone It's just hitting the punching bag. It doesn't do any good for anyone. And then we go, on and on and on and on with struggles, punching the bag all the time, and we die, and that's it. So we miss the incarnation, the lost time. By the way, we should see it as spiritists. We should see that death is what gives meaning to life itself. That's interesting. Death is what gives meaning to life itself. So wrapping up, something that we already said. Life is the context that we create to work on our problems, advance and improve our morality, and become better version of ourselves. That is life. Something that we create. We are creators, and life is our creation. So we cannot be higher than we are. We cannot be above us. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. We are going to be here next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Kardec Radio, Spiritism, a closer look. And next week, we are going to start talking about diseases, degenerative diseases and stuff like that. So hope to see you next week with us here. Thank you very much.